YouTube. This is GTN rider coming in from Bangalore, and this one's a lazy Sunday afternoon. So this is going to be a brief video on some of the mods that I've done to my Hyosung to make it a little better, a little easier to live with on a day-to-day basis. Some things are purely functional, some are aesthetic only, and and some of them related to safety. So here goes. First things first, I installed this pretty slick looking windshield, which, as one would imagine, nakeds don't really provide a good amount of wind protection when you're doing those high speed runs. So I got this installed from it's a windshield off of a KTM Duke, uh, 390. It's not the RC, of course, it's just the regular Dukes. So they get a lot of these custom windshields for the Duke, and I got it right off that. It's pretty simple installation. Just has 4 bolts, as you can see, that bolts directly onto the plastic housing for the speedo. So there is some amount of, as you can see down there, there is some amount of plastic cladding here, and this thing bolts straight onto the plastic housing for the speedo. It's not very effective, but at least this does a better job than the naked setup, the stock setup of the bike. I think I paid around 1,800 rupees for the windshield and an additional $50 for the tint that you see. It's a black tint. Usually when you get it off the shop, it's transparent. So I just got this tinted for $50. So all in all, $1,800 is all it costed me, and I guess it looks pretty good for the bike. It doesn't look out of place. It doesn't look too awkward, in my opinion. The second modification is the dual horns that I have on the bike. The stock horns are pathetic, and basically the location of it is odd, and this one's purely functional modification. So the stock horn sits somewhere here, behind the radiator and right above your front cylinder. So one would imagine this area gets really hot. This area gets really hot as the bike runs, and the horn just stops working after some time. So what I did is I got the bracket removed from its original location, and I used a custom bracket to fit the dual horn, of course, and then mounted that bracket just below the master cylinder for the front brakes. So this is a much better placement for this horn, as you get the cool wind hitting it first, and at no point does this get hot. It never gets hot enough for it to stop functioning. So this, in my opinion, is the best place to mount this. But of course it didn't, this position was not finalized on a first shot basis. I did screw up quite a few times, where you could see that the bracket kind of hit the mud guard and started scratching it. So I improvised again, and put in some tie clips, cable tie, whatever you want to call them, onto the number plate holder rod that you see, and now it's stopped fouling with the front mud guard. But if you're planning to do this mod yourself, just watch out for this. Just make sure you give enough clearance. Mod number 3 would be purely related to safety. as you might have seen in one of my earlier videos where I took a fall on the bike, and uh, literally there was no scratch on the bike because of this. This is the Moto crash guards for the bike. It's a pretty slick piece of safety equipment. It looks pretty good, um, much better looking than some of the other ones that I've seen on some other bikes, which are much more expensive. So this, you get a beautifully machined piece of aluminium, metal, I mean steel, whatever you want to call it. So it's beautifully machined. It sits very snugly, and it doesn't look too out of place when you compare that it is an add-on part. So what you do is you simply remove the stock bolt that you get from the that you have on the engine uh, casing. So you remove the stock bolt, fit this in. It comes with the bolt. All you have to do is I don't know if I can remove it by hand, but this thing comes off. This is just a protective. This is just a protective cover for the bolt, so you don't leave them exposed. So there is a bolt underneath that. So once you're done, you just screw in the protective cover from the outside. So it looks pretty sleek, if you ask me. And I think this one's a little shorter than the other one. As you can see, this one's a slightly longer piece of machined entity. If you don't know, it's actually not a. Then that's primarily because you have the offset in the cylinder. They're not exactly in the same plane. The front cylinder is slightly offset that way, and the rear cylinder slightly this way. So you need longer uh, machined billet for this one compared to the other side. So do check them out. I think I bought them from Planet DSG. I don't know if they still have them. It's a pretty good engine guard for the Hyosung. And the fact that it's naked makes it easier to fit. You don't have to do any modifications, nothing. So just remove the stock bolts, put in the bolts that are provided with the crash guard. So the fourth modification would be performance related, and also the looks, and also the feel of the entire bike. That would be the IXIL silencers. This one weighs quite a lot less than the stock can that you get with the Hyosung. It's a pretty large piece of kit, and of course always ride without the DB killer. It does come with a DB killer which fits in here, and you screw it on from the bottom side. And yeah, this one sounds quite a lot better than the stock, as you would imagine. They're pretty good. As I said, this weighs considerably less considering the stock exhaust. Makes a big improvement in its handling, and the way you tip in and the way it turns in. So it's pretty good stuff. I think I paid around 23,000 for this, and it's definitely worth spending that money. The fifth modification is the tail tidy that I've got on this. Usually people go in for a lot fancier stuff for the tail tidy and spend a lot of money, and I did not. I just saw that there is a metal bracket that already is available in the stock setup, and all I did was unscrewed the plastic bit that comes over here, and just made a couple of holes in the number plate, and bolted it directly onto the stock metal bracket that's already in the stock Hyosung. So um, yeah, it looks okay. It's not too bad considering the fact that I spent almost zero on it. So I'm pretty happy with the way the tail tidy looks. These are the mods that I've done on this so far. Um, if you have any questions, leave them at the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them for you. This is GTN Rider signing out. Peace.